Friends, write down the last aspect with respect to the 147. Side main heading, effect of retrospective amendment in law. Effect of retrospective amendment in law by Finance Acts. The assessing officer cannot issue notice for assessment years which are time barred under section 149(1). But in case of such time barred assessment years, which are pending before appellate authorities / courts appellate authority or the court if it gives a direction, then in order to carry out their direction / order, notice can be issued under section 148 even if time limit for issuing the notice expired. Who said so? Hyphen लगा के 150 subsection 1 says so. 150 subsection 1 says so. However, 150 subsection 1 shall not apply. However, 150 subsection 1 shall not apply in case there is a retrospective amendment by the Finance Acts. There is a retrospective amendment by the Finance Act disallowing a particular expense. In such case, full stop लगा के continuation. In such case, notice under section 148 can be issued only if there is a time limit to do so as given in 149.1, as given in 149.1. Now successfully we completed 147, but friends, the long travel which we have with the reassessment is not just confined to 147. We discussed 147, 148, 149, 150, and then 151, 152. All these sections we made a comprehensive coverage. Having done with the 3 assessments. What are the 3 assessments you learned? 143.3 regular assessment, that is a scrutiny assessment. 144 best judgment assessment, and then 147 reassessment. Of course friends, there is one more assessment which we call it as a block assessment. In such cases, that as an independent discussion we will take up that. At this juncture, let me move to the next important section and interesting section, that is section 153, which deals with the time limit, Of course, CA final examination paper, I never saw a paper without giving questions relating to the time limits. Of course, this is not the first place where you are studying the time limits. Many places you have studied the time limits. Time limits we studied with respect to issuing of notices, and then issuing the orders, assessment orders. So in that context, here 153 discusses about what is the time limit within which these assessments must be completed. Your regular assessment must be completed within what time, your best judgment assessment should be completed within what time, your reassessment should be completed within what time, and what are the exceptions to those time limits. These things are most important. Some places you are going to study 21 months. 21 months को कैसे याद में रखना? 12 plus 9 is equal to 21. क्या है? 12 plus 9 is equal to 21. What is the big deal with 12 plus 9 is equal to 21, sir? Because some places it is stated 9 months, some places it is stated 21. Generally, there is a feeling among any student, अब्बा टाइम लिमिट्स को मैं कैसे याद करूं, how I remember it. In that context, as a learner of this law, how I am feeling that I should remember this is 21 कैसा आता? 12 plus 9. After 1 year 9 months or 9 months. ऐसा दिमाग में रखने के लिए try करो. It's only try. Anyhow, what you have to look before you enter in the examination hall, whenever before, time limits only. Okay. Now, listen carefully first, then holistically we can put the whole time limits into a particular table. So your 153.1 says what? Time limit for completing the assessment under section 143.3, that is scrutiny assessment or best judgment assessment under section 144, is 21 months from the end of the relevant assessment year. from the end of the relevant assessment year, within 21 months, you should complete the assessment under section 143(3) or 144. That means after the end of 21 months from the end of the relevant assessment year, happily the SSC can feel that yes, he will not get any notice under section 143(2) stating that your case is taken up for regular assessment. Got the point? So 21 months means what? After the end of the assessment year, 1 year plus 9 months. That is, let us suppose there is an assessment year of 2007-8. So case can be taken up for reassessment and reassessment. Case can be taken up for regular assessment or best judgment assessment and can be completed by what time? That is, 21 months means what? 2007 and 8 financial year gets ended on which dates? 31st March 2008. From there 21 months means what? 1 year plus 9 months. So 31/3/2009 plus 9 months means what? 31/12/2009. December आ रहा, your boss will not be seen in the office. Why? You got the answer now? Why your boss is busy even after the tax audit season? Tax audit हो गया September 30th. अब सब भी खुश, boss भी खुश. You are going to your exams and boss is busy in going to the income tax office. क्योंकि पिछले साल का जो स्क्रूटिनी से है वो सब टाइम लिमिट के साथ कब कंप्लीट होना? ये दिसंबर तक कंप्लीट होना. तो your assessing officers will be regularly phoning. टाइम बार हो रहा, आके कंप्लीट कर दो. And as Indians we are all last minute doers only, right? Without much of an exception. That's the reason why chartered accountant ऑफिस में 12 months पूरा वर्क रहता. If you have got internal audits, statutory audits, income tax work, accounting work. But the beauty part, as an article student, you should be able to understand after 1 year of completion of the article that क्या season में क्या work रहता ऑफिस में. Got the point? Why people will be very busy in the December? Because some of the assessments are getting a time barred with 31/12. So one point here is time limit for completing the assessment, regular assessment under 143(3) or 144 is 21 months from the end of the relevant assessment year. So assessment year होने के बाद 1 year होने के बाद 9 months. That means 31/12. So it's an eventful date. Then friends, you can take one more example. Listen, that's it. For assessment year 2008 and 9, due date for filing the return is what? Let us suppose your case is a, what is it, a tax audit case. September 30th is a due date. So for the assessment year 2008 and 9, due date for filing the return is 30th/9/2008. And belatedly you can file your return up to what dates? Belatedly कब तक डाल सकते आप? 1 year from the end of the relevant assessment year or before the assessment getting completed. अब क्या हुआ दोस्तों, एक एसएससी coolly came and filed the return on 31/3/2010. 8-9 assessment year का कब आके रिटर्न डाले, उन्होंने 31/3/2010 में डाले. डाल सकते क्योंकि 1 year from the end of the relevant assessment year. Relevant assessment year is that is 2008 and 9. 1 year means up to 31/3/2010 उन्होंने डाल सकते, डाल दिए. अब चैलेंज क्या है? What is the time limit to take up the regular assessment and completing that particular regular assessment? Still it continue to be 21 months only. 21 months means by 31/12/2010 तक कंप्लीट करना. Can the assessing officer cry? ये आदमी ड्यू डेट के पहले नहीं डाले. Had he made that particular return properly in time, I would have got, if not 21 months. 21 months कब आता? In case if I am filing my return on April 1st of the relevant assessment year. मेरे को 6 months दिए उन्होंने रिटर्न डालने के लिए ड्यू डेट तक. तो वो कब तक होता? 30/9. तो वो 21 months से रिटर्न के पहले तो तुम कैसा भी रेगुलर असेसमेंट नहीं ले सकते ना, क्योंकि हम क्या पढ़े 143(3) में, टू टेक अप द केस फॉर 143 नोटिस मस्ट बी इश्यूड अंडर सेक्शन 143(2). नोटिस कैन बी इश्यूड अंडर सेक्शन 143(2) ओनली इफ द रिटर्न इज फाइल्ड. तो ऑटोमेटिकली 6 months इज लास्ट. कैसा? ए पर्सन कैन फाइल द रिटर्न ऑन 30/9 ऑफ द रेलेवेंट असेसमेंट ईयर. अब ये आदमी क्या कर रहे? ये आदमी हैप्पीली कमिंग एंड फाइलिंग द रिटर्न ऑन द लास्ट डे ऑफ द फ्रॉम द एंड ऑफ द रेलेवेंट असेसमेंट ईयर. तो व्हाट हैपेंड फ्रेंड्स? व्हाट हैपेंड इज द टाइम इज गेटिंग लास्ट. टाइम इज slowly getting lost. Although they said 21 months is allowed from the end of the relevant assessment year, 6 months in the relevant assessment year वो हो गया, और 6 months that is 30/9 to 31/3 till the end of the assessment year. From there 12 months. So he is losing the time. But does it mean that there will be an extension of the time limit for completing the assessment under section 143(3)? No. That's the reason why your assessing officers will be very angry if you are filing a belated return and giving them a very less time to complete the, what is it, your assessment, regular assessment under 143(3). Generally our mentality is what? पहले पहले जाके डाले तो उन्होंने पहले पहले बुलाते और उसको बहुत ज्यादा टाइम मिल जाता. Right? Even the same psychology you will be finding in the client when we are going for the tax audit. Everybody will come on September 15th only. ताकि Harita madam will be busy in preparing and going to the exams. She will ask less or she will trouble less. This is acceptable in a chartered accountant's office, but income tax में तो उनको गुस्सा नहीं देना ना. Yes, one or the other occasion in a lifetime you can say to the assessing officer, I am sorry. Every time आदत बन गया है आपको. क्या है? Last day आफ्टर द एक्सपायरी ऑफ द असेसमेंट ईयर, 1 year होने के बाद लास्ट डे में आ रहा, दाल में काला है. सो इवन इफ दाल में काला है, टाइम इज नॉट गेटिंग एक्सटेंडेड. सो बी केयरफुल. दैट इज The provision clearly says the time limit given for completing the regular assessment or the best judgment assessment under section 144 is 21 months. From which date these 21 months need to be calculated? From the end of the relevant assessment year. Now, an interesting case. Listen carefully. There is no need to write. Assessing officer passed the assessment order under section 143(3) on 31/12/2010 for the assessment year 2008 and 9 related. Regular assessment got completed on 31/12/2010. Yes. The said order was served on the SC on 2/1/2011. And demand notice under section 156 was prepared on 3/1/2011 and was served on the SSC on 4/1/2011. अब हमारा SSC साहब क्या बता रहे हैं? Sir, what the assessment you did is a time barred assessment. So I am not going to accept what the demand you have raised. क्योंकि assessment complete होना कब तक? 31/12/2010 तक. आप complete करें, accept करते. मगर हमको कब कम्युनिकेशन आए? हमको कम्युनिकेशन आए on 3/1/2011 और डिमांड नोटिस आए on 4/1/2011. तो 3 days you are delayed. Can he say so? He can very well say so, because what the code says, assessment is an integrated process involving not only determination of the total income but also the determination of the tax. Therefore, unless total income is determined and a tax thereon is also levied, it cannot be said that the process of the assessment is complete. So on that pretext, what we say, you completed the assessment but not determined the tax, and after the time limit given for completing the assessment, you are determining the tax to be paid and then issuing the demand notice, then it can be well challenged on the pretext that the assessment is a time barred assessment. What is it? 156 के लिए no time limit, but completing the assessment, it should be, when you say assessment got completed, please don't be under an impression that assessment can be completed without determination of the tax. दोनों एक ही बार होना. क्या है? Ascertaining the income and determination of the tax must be done before the time limit prescribed. My income को determine कर दिए within the time limit, tax को determine कर रहे हैं after the time limit, बाद में 156 दे रही. 156 दे दो, बाद में ही दे दो. There is no time limit. But whether this determination of the tax is happening within the time limit or not is the point which we are all driving, and it is clearly stated by the court in Purushottam Das Patel case. They clearly stated this particular principle. Write down this important point. Section 153(1) provides, Section 153(1) provides, no order under Section 153(1) no order not under section 153(1). No order under section 143(3)/144. No order under section 143/144 shall be made after the expiry of 21 months from the end of relevant assessment year. Note: assessment is an integrated process. Assessment is an integrated process involving not only determination of total income, but also determination of tax thereon. Therefore, unless the total income is determined, and tax thereon is also levied, it cannot be said the process of assessment is complete. Next, the assessment can be said to be complete when income is determined and tax is levied thereon through a notice of demand under section 156. In fact, this is the requirement when you are preparing for the final examination. At the PE2 or PCC level, if you know, of course, these are not being covered there in the PCC. If you know what is the time limit under 153 and if you know what is when can demand notice requiring the SSE to pay the tax independently, that would be fine. But a point like this, unless we read the law much detail and much in depth, the intricate issues like this, it would be difficult to understand. At the final level, my knowledge with respect to 153 and 156 independently does not make any sense. if I am able to mix these two and read these two, then only it makes a sense. For that only students are expected to go through the judgments of the different courts, and in the initial classes we will be learning the point that what is the core law of income tax, what constitutes the income tax law is not just confined to Income Tax Act and income tax rules, it includes the circulars, notifications and the High Court and Supreme Court judgments. So as a final student you are supposed to carefully understand these type of points. There is no time limit for issuing the demand notice, but the determination of the tax must happen before the time limit prescribed under section 153(1) is the total point which we have driven. Determination करके बाद में कभी भी दे दो, थोड़ा उधर भी दे सकते, मगर determination of the tax must be done along with the determination of the income. You can't separate these two things and say that the time limit is only applicable for determination of the income but not with reference to the determination of the tax. Like that you can't say. Then I move to 153(2). What is 153(2) says? What is the time limit for completing the assessment or reassessment under section 147? What is 147 दोस्तों? Reassessment. Reassessment complete करने के लिए क्या time limit? What is a time limit? 9 months. क्या है? 9 months. These 9 months must be computed with from which date? From the end of the financial year, not the assessment year. From the end of the financial year in which notice under section 148 was served on the SSE. In which financial year you are serving the notice on the SSE, from the end of that particular financial year 9 months में complete हो जाना आपका जो reassessment under section 147. Of course, you can well feel this with an example. Listen carefully the example. For the assessment year 2004 and 5, the assessment got completed on 10/12/2005 under 143(3). Assessing the income of the SSE to be 5 lakhs. Now on 30th/3/2011, assessing officer notices that there is an income to the tune of 90,000 which escaped the assessment. Now he issues the notice under section 148 on 30th/3/2011. See what Venkat says, he can't issue the notice for reassessment under section 148 on 30th/3/2011. All of you are in agreement with what he says. What is the time limits which you have discussed for issuing a notice under section 148 which are given under section 149, which just now we have concluded? Up to 4 years and up to 6 years. Right? तो 2004 and 5 assessment year के लिए 6 years कब होता दोस्तों? 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8, 9, 9, 10, 10, 11. है ना? 6 साल तो है ना? But why he is not happy? He is not happy because 6 साल है साहब, मगर if the income escaping the assessment happens to be मिनिमम 1 लाख, मिनिमम क्या है, दैट इज 1 लाख, है या नहीं? बियॉन्ड 4 years, इफ वन वांट टू इश्यू ए नोटिस टू टेक अप द केस फॉर रीअसेसमेंट, it can be done only up to 4 years. Beyond 4 years देना बोले तो minimum income escaping the assessment they should found how much, 1 lakh. Now on that pretext what Mr. Venkat said, not with mouth but with a change in the facial expression, stands good. How the answer you need to develop, friends? Of course, let me complete the question. Before I complete the question itself, his face got changed. That made us to look at the situation why his face got changed. The said notice is served on the SSE on 4th April 2011. Assessing officer completes the assessment under section 147 on 31/12/2012. Examine the validity of the action of the assessing officer. When we sit in the exam, we don't look at that part. We look at this part. What is this part? Is that the assessment got completed within the time limit which is prescribed under section 153(1) or that is 153(2). वो देख लेते हम. किसको भूल के, is originally can this be taken up for reassessment under section 147 by issuing a notice under section 148? इसको हम भूल के we will write answer to this part and we will sleep and dream for going to the Tirupati. That this time all the questions came and I wrote very well. Some students will come and say, sir, direct tax aspect कितना भी लिख लो, कैसे भी लिख लो, हमको 48 से 50 तक उनसे ज्यादा नहीं आता साहब, हमारा दोस्त लोगों को ऐसा ही आ रहा. इन डायरेक्ट टैक्स पेपर में पास होना ही मुश्किल है साहब. 40 आ गए तो सेकेंड ग्रुप खत्म, कंप्लीट हो जाता. यस, बट ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड, we are not sitting there while valuing the papers with a prenotion that necessarily the student should be failed or necessarily the student should not be allowed to get more than 40 or 50. More than 50 इसको नहीं देना बोल के I am not starting my valuation. But the point of interest is careful. Of course, CA profession itself demands lot of careful observation, patience. तो ये पेपर भी वैसा ही पेपर है. There are some chapters which requires a very careful understanding. Otherwise, slipping will be very fast. So how the answer got developed? As per the provisions of section 149(1), notice under section 148 could have been issued only up to 31/3/2009. 4 years only. Hence, the notice issued on 30th/3/2011 is a time-barred one and thus is invalid. Therefore, reassessment done under section 147 is invalid. Only this much. But when we value the papers, the answer will run through 2 pages तक लिख सकते लोग. Then the valuer gets irritated. अरे जब 3 लाइन में आंसर आना, ये बच्चे हमको 2 पेजेस पढ़ने के लिए मजबूर कर रहे, तो इसको पनिश करना. Beating around the bush not acceptable. In direct tax paper, you know the section, you know the situation, write the answer. Don't write whatever that you know. Write only what they asked for. क्योंकि इसके पहले मैं इनकम टैक्स पेपर्स वैल्यू कर रहे इंस्टीट्यूट मेन एग्जामिनेशंस का 3 बार करके छोड़ दिए क्योंकि I got shivering in the spine by looking at the answer sheets of the students. एक बच्चे जब पैन के बारे में लिख लो बोल के इनका टैक्स पेपर में क्वेश्चन आए तो उन्होंने क्या क्या लिख रहे हैं दोस्तों, हमारा ऑफिस में पैन डालते और सर को 200 रुपीज मिलते, उसमें 65 रुपीज विल गो टू द डिपार्टमेंट, 135 इज अवर सर्विसिंग चार्जेस, और दिस वर्क में बहुत सारी प्रॉब्लम्स हैं एंड दैट फेलो विल कीप ऑन आस्किंग अस एंड दिस सर विल नॉट बी अवेलेबल इन द ऑफिस एंड आई एडवाइज्ड मेनी टाइम्स माय सर नॉट टू टेक अप दिस काइंड ऑफ द वर्क, बट इन एनी केस दिस इज required for the SSC and under this he has to quote it. अरे ये क्या है, CBSE 10th class exam है क्या? Write about Ashoka means Ashoka is a great warrior. Ashoka was born then and he has also planted the trees by the side of both the roads. ऐसा नहीं लिखना दोस्तों, जितना पूछे उतना ही लिखना. चलो बाद में नेक्स्ट एग्जाम्पल सुन लो. फॉर द असेसमेंट ईयर 2004 and 5, assessment was completed on 20th/11/2006 अंडर सेक्शन 144. बेस्ट जजमेंट में असेसमेंट 20th/11/2006 में कंप्लीट कर दिए विथ 6 लाख रुपीज. ऑन 4/6/2010 assessing officer notices that income of 1,10,000 has escaped the assessment and he issued notice under section 148 on that date. The notice was served on the SSC on 10th April 2011. By what time can the assessing officer complete the assessment under section 147? Of course, first let us check, is the notice valid? The amount is 1,10,000. So up to 6 years from the end of the relevant assessment year, he can issue the notice. What is the relevant assessment year, friends? 2004 and 5. तब से लेके 6 साल कब कंप्लीट हुआ? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 10, 11. तो 11/31/3/2011 तक दे सकते एंड assessing officer issued the notice on 4/6/2010 means well within the time limit which is prescribed under section 149(1) he has issued the notice. Now time limit for completing the reassessment under 153(2), what is stated? A reassessment can be completed within 9 months from the end of the financial year in which notice is serviced. When the notice is served? Notice is served on 10th April 2011. वो टाइम लिमिट के लिए इश्यू डेट इज रिलेवेंट और 153(2) के लिए सर्विसिंग डेट इज मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट. When the servicing happened on 10th April 2011. So 10th April 2011 बोले तो फाइनेंशियल ईयर क्या होगा दोस्तों? 2011 and 12. 2011 and 12 will be the financial year in which your 10th April 2011 is coming. That is the date on which the notice is serviced. So 12th March से लेके 9 months बोले तो कब तक आ जाएगा? 31/12/2012 तक they can complete the reassessment. So reassessment under section 147 can be completed up to 9 months from the end of the financial year in which the notice, that is financial year in which notice under section 148 is serviced on the SSC is the points. So now having got that clarity, write down one small point, that is section 153(2) section 153(2). Time limit for completion of assessment or reassessment. Assessment or reassessment under section 147. Under section 147. This you make it side heading, write down. Assessment under section 147 should be completed within 9 months. Within 9 months from the end of the financial year. From the end of the financial year in which notice is served. Notice is served under section 148. Then friends, we slowly move to the next section, that is 153 subsection 2a. What is this 153 subsection 2a? Look at the point here. Point is, a particular assessment the assessing officer is taking up. What is that? That is, your original assessment is set aside by Commissioner of Income Tax exercising the revisionary powers under section 263 or 264, or income tax appellate tribunal set aside your original assessment order and gave you a direction stating that you cancel your original assessment and make fresh assessment. If that is the case, if the assessing officer is taking up the fresh assessment because his original assessment is set aside by the order passed by the ITAT or Commissioner of Income Tax exercising his revisionary powers. Friends, earlier we studied one point. CIT appeal cannot set aside the assessment order passed by the assessing officer. That power is there only to whom? ITAT as well as Commissioner of Income Tax exercising his revisionary powers under 263 and 264. Now the point of here interest here is, if an assessment has to be done because of such a direction of setting aside of that particular original assessment order, such assessment must be completed within what time? Within 9 months from the end of the financial year in which direction is given under section 254 or 263 or 264 is a point. Got the point? So write down section 153 2a, section 153 2a, time limit for completion of the assessment, time limit for completion of the assessment, where the original assessment is cancelled or set aside by an order under section 254 comma 263 or 264, and a direction is given to assessing officer, and a direction is given to the assessing officer in such order to make fresh assessment, This you make it side heading. What is the time limit? Within 9 months, from the end of the financial year, in which order under section 254 is received, by the CIT, ORR. Order under section 263 or 264 is passed by the CIT, Try to get into the beauty part of this particular sentence. 254 में IT-AT either, in case if it is going to set aside or cancel the order of the assessing officer, IT-AT will write to the jurisdictional commissioner of income tax. तुम्हारा assessing officer ऐसे कर दिए और SSC made an appeal before us. We found what he said is true. Set aside the order of the assessing officer. Ask your assessing officer to make a fresh assessment. Directly, IT-AT will not ask the assessing officer. Through the channel, IT-AT will ask the jurisdictional commissioner to set aside the order passed. And Commissioner of Income Tax will instruct his assessing officer. Under these circumstances, that 9 months is to be completed from which date? When that particular order is received by the IT-AT, by the CIT. CIT regular जब वहां से कहां से IT-AT से वो ऑर्डर उसको मिलता, जिस फाइनेंशियल ईयर में वो मिल गए, वो फाइनेंशियल ईयर एंड से 9 मंथ्स तक देखना पड़ेगा, कंप्लीट करना पड़ेगा. In case the order of the assessing officer is set aside by the revisionary powers under section 263 or 264, then what is stated? This 9 months is to be computed from which date? From the end of the financial year in which order under section 263 or 264 is passed. Yadi your original assessment order is set aside under revisionary powers of 263, 264, what is important? Date of passing of the order. Yadi your original assessment order is set aside by the IT-AT, then what is the relevant date? That is the date on which the order is received by the CIT, in which financial year it is being received, of course in which month it is being received. From the end of that particular month, your 9 months is to be computed, not from the end of the financial year. Your 153.1 and 153.2 is to be computed from the end of the financial year is the point. See, your 153.1 says what? 21 months from the end of the relevant assessment year. Your 153.2 says what? That 9 months reassessment के लिए 9 months from the end of the relevant financial year in which notice is serviced. यहाँ 153 2A में क्या है? Those 9 months is to be computed from the end of the month, from the end of the financial year, not the month. Here also it is only the financial year, not the month, because how you wrote, that is, it must be done within 9 months from the end of the financial year in which the order under section 254 is received by the CIT, or order under section 263 or 264 is passed by the CIT. Try to understand, because again and again this type limits always appears to be slightly confusing. It is not only you are remembering the month, it is not only you are remembering the number of months. Is it 21 months or 9 months or 9 months? From which date those 21 months is to be calculated, from which date that particular 9 months is to be calculated, that is very much relevant. तो 153(1) में जो रेगुलर असेसमेंट कंप्लीट करने के लिए 21 मंथ्स हम बता रहे हैं, वो 21 मंथ्स आर फ्रॉम द एंड ऑफ द रिलेवेंट असेसमेंट ईयर. जो 153(2) में रीअसेसमेंट के लिए जो हम बता रहे हैं वो 9 मंथ्स क्या है? फ्रॉम द एंड ऑफ द फाइनेंशियल ईयर इन विच नोटिस इज सर्व्ड. नाउ 153(2A में what is that 9 months? If the original assessment order is set aside by the order of the ITAT under section 254, then 9 months is to be computed from the end of the financial year in which the order under section 254 is received by the CIT. In case if your original assessment order is set aside by the revisionary powers under section 263 and 264, then that 9 months is to be computed from the end of the financial year in which the order under section 263 and 264 is passed, is a most important thing. Now try to write down another last important point as far as 153(2A) is concerned, friends. See, what is this important point? Is a fresh notice is required under 148. When original assessment is set aside and you are asked to make a fresh assessment, and this order is passed by the ITAT or revisionary powers of CIT 263-264, जब और एक बार नोटिस देने के लिए जरूरत है? No. Why? Because your original assessment proceedings are still continuing with. The moment the order is set aside means the proceedings are still on. When original assessment proceedings are still on, there is no need for again issuing a notice. So this beautiful point, please make note. For making a fresh assessment, to give effect to the order, under section 254, 263, 264, notice under section 143(2) oblique 144 oblique 148 is not required, because the original notice is still valid.